Hi everyone. Just waiting for a few more people to arrive. Going to start at 12 o'clock. It's about 4 minutes time. So I'm just looking at briefly what I'm going to be saying to you today, and looking forward to seeing what you guys bring to the table and see how we can help each other. So just going to wait a few more minutes. Hi Debbie. Just going to wait a few more minutes and make sure everyone's here before we begin. Hi Claire. Hi Les. Farhan. Thanks for coming, my friend. Hope everyone's all right today. This is week 2, isn't it, of lockdown? Are we all hunkered down in our homes? Or are we ready to inflict serious harm on our family members? That's good, Farhan. I'm glad you're doing well. Hi, Cindy. Office does look cleaner. I did that because you told me off. And you see this? This is Ugly Mug. Ugly Mug will always be with us. Ugly Mug has been with me since my 18th birthday, and is still intact. Hi, Achana. So, just waiting for a few more people to arrive. They've promised me that they will come, and they've got a few minutes. So, hi, Anil. So, how's everyone spending their? Is it Tuesday? Is it Tuesday morning? It is. So this is the last day of the contract year, isn't it? Sarah and Faisal, did you ever think on the last day of the contract year we'd be at home chilling? It's crazy, crazy times, isn't it? It's really strange. Hi Gov, how you doing, my friend? I was flicking through your composite booklet earlier, remembering that only a few short weeks ago, Gov, we were in a hotel learning and just getting to grips with colour and shade and composites, and I can't believe we're all sat at home. Hi Mina. Hi Libby. So certainly times have really changed, haven't they? Right, so you guys are all the early people. That's really good. Yeah, I'm really forgetting what day it is. Hi Mohammed. Thank you, Libby. I know the office is looking tidy. I've been told off about it so much. The missus gave me such a telling off that, and Farhan, who's hi Claire, who's above you in the comments, also told me off about the lack of tidiness. Let's say it's only this section that's tidy because that's what's in frame. Hi Georgia. So I'm just waiting for just a few more people to turn up. Oh, that's great, Libby. I'll if you what time's that going to be on? I'll try and catch that. Mohammed, you're right. There's no escape from household chores. Especially, I'm the guy that says to the missus every time that I'll do that when I've got time. I'll do that when I've got time. And now I have nothing but time until we're redeployed into the NHS. That is. So I've put my application in, so to speak, and I'm hoping. Please, Libby, send me a link. I'm hoping that we will get a chance to go and help. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's imperative that we, certainly as dentists, go in and do whatever we can. I believe we're going to be cleaning and helping those critical care nurses in reducing their workload, which is a good thing. Breakfast. Yes, Libby, if I'm redeployed and if I'm going to a hot site, as they say, then I probably won't come back home, which is a big decision because I've got 4 kids here and it means that my wife's going to have to do a lot more work. But I think it's very important that I stay away. I'm isolating from my parents as well. I haven't been to see them for two and a half weeks. But luckily they live with my brother and he's not medical or anything, but he's proper on the case. He's cleaning and he's really looking after them. So confident and happy that my parents are sorted. But yeah, it is a big decision. I don't know. Hi Jenny, nice to see you there. The hair has darkened. I am not dyeing my hair, I assure you. Assalamu alaikum, Tariq. Hi there, Mahmood. Yeah, do you know what, Libby? I think I probably will go and see and have a chat to them from the window. They're only 25 minutes away, so it's not a long trip or anything. Right, guys, it's now 1 minute past. I think we've given a chance to everyone who wants to come and attend. So basically, I asked a couple of questions on Facebook, and I wanted to get people's opinions on what they're doing and how they're using their time, and how they can benefit from this time, because this is really a gift. I know it feels like, especially if you're in private practice, it feels like this is a catastrophic time. But I truly believe when we look back on this will be seen as a gift. Thanks, Jenny. So I'll tell you a bit about myself. So I've been in practice for 20 years. I bought my first practice a month after I finished vocational training, and I'm happy to say that I'm still there in that same practice, treating that same cohort of patients and growing that business really well year on year. We enjoy the dentistry we do there. And I have to say, you guys will probably think that I'm doing all this fancy dentistry. I do no implants, I do no orthodontics, I do no facial aesthetics. My business grows on simple dentistry, I'd like to say, composite fillings, and just routine hygienist treatments. We have a number of hygienists in the practice. Mina's here and watching, and she's part of our team. And we've always had a hygiene-led practice. So I've had my main practice for 20 years. I've had my second practice for 10 years. And that's a practice that I entered into an NHS tender for, tendered for the practice, won, and then decided that, I can write these tenders. I'm going to write these tenders for other people. So I set up a business, and myself and an ex NHS primary care contracts manager, we started writing tenders for other people. So I've not only had practices, I've bought practices, I've sold practices, and I've tendered for new NHS practices. So I think I've done a fair bit within dentistry, and on the side, I'm a partner in a small dental lab, which has been a really interesting side thing for me to understand another part of the dental business structure in terms of how a lab works. It's been a really interesting 20 years. I feel there's a lot more to go. I've just done my Bond Solon legal training, and I'm now a registered expert witness. So I picked up my first case just before the lockdown, and so everything's gone a bit quiet again. So I'm looking forward to growing that side of dentistry. I'm really keen to do some legal work, and I'm at the moment only looking to work within personal injury. I'm not looking to work against dentists, I might add. I don't think that's probably a good way to go, and it's not something I want to do. But slips and trips and falls, happy to do that and write the report, see the patient write the report. I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope I can grow that business after the lockdown is over. So that's a bit about me. Immigrant family, just like a lot of my colleagues. We started with nothing. My parents were, whatever they lacked in material possessions, they gave in their time. And I have to say, my parents are my first mentors and coaches. Especially my dad is really, really giving of his time, and really loved to teach and to help us and nurture us. And I think even to this day, there are a couple that are very nurturing and very keen to see their kids do well, and encourage them. And that's I recognise not everyone has that. So what I like about my practice and where I work is that I look down my list and I never have that patient. I never have that patient that causes me stress, because even when somebody's not happy with what they've received, I always look at that as an opportunity to change their attitude towards me. I really enjoy looking after patients, and I really enjoy getting to know patients. So earlier in this year, I got hit by a car while I was out cycling, and I lost 6 weeks of work. And I really, really missed meeting those patients and talking to those patients. And I work in a practice around the corner from Warwick University. So we have a group of patients that are educated, intelligent, travelled. They listen to you. They listen to you. They are keen to keep their teeth. They want good treatment, and they're willing to pay for it. So even though it's an NHS practice in inverted commas, we do a fair amount of private, and not only that, we do a fair amount of private work that lasts, because I like to think my dentistry is okay, but also the patients have been schooled and coached and bullied over the years, and they're good patients, and they like to keep their teeth, and so it works. It really does work. So I asked a couple of questions on Facebook, and there's definitely a disillusionment anyway in dentistry, and then we've got this COVID-19 going on. So there are lots of things going on around us that we really have no control over. And what I wanted to say on this as the bottom line is to control what you can control. So control the controllable and really forget the rest, because you have no impact upon it. So the GDC is charging us more money. Okay, but who cares? The BDA are not doing what they're supposed to do. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you still got to see your patients in your practice, and you've got to deliver great care to them. Charge what you want to charge if you can, but you've still got to deliver the dog's bollocks. You've got to deliver what you promised to deliver, and you've got to do that in a compassionate and caring manner. Because 20 years in dentistry, I've never chased the money. The money has always come, and remember, I don't do anything fancy. This is all simple dentistry. And the money always comes if you treat the patient right. And we'll talk about that later on, about patient care and what you're trying to achieve in delivering an excellent customer experience. Because just like if you go to buy a car at Mercedes or Porsche, customer service and the customer process and the customer journey, to coin a phrase from Chris Barrow, is key, isn't it? That ability to take your customer through the door and treat them well, and treat them as you would treat your parents or your sister or your brother, and look after them. You can't underplay that. And that is the same for associates and of course for principals. So I think first of all, I want to talk to you a little bit about mindset. And mindset gets talked about and bandied around all the time. But basically, in a nutshell, it is the internal dialogue you have with yourself, and it's the ability to be self-aware of what's going on in your head, and knowing when your internal processes are skewed. If you can understand that external stimulus coming to you, you have a choice and a responsibility and an ability to determine how you react to that external stimulus. So if somebody's being rude to you, it does not mean you fly off the handle and be rude back. I think it's all about just being present in that moment and knowing yourself and being self-aware. So there's lots been written about mindset, and I'll give you a link in the... Sorry, I should have said there'll be a PDF attached to this. If you drop me your email address, I will get this sent out to you. And so all the notes are there. And there's a couple of books that I'm sure you guys have read. So there's Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is a seminal book that you should read. And it's a book for life, not just for dentistry. And then there's Carol Dweck's Mindset book, which I found a little bit dry, but it's definitely worth flicking through. And because she is if you search mindset online, everything comes back to her. She's the one that's done the most research in the field. So this is about, there's a lot of stuff that we keep with us, and we worry about things that have gone in the past. So the past has gone. There's nothing you can do about it. So all you can deal with is now. And the power of now is very important. Of in that moment, knowing what you can change for now and hopefully altering your future. The past is gone, and sometimes we need to let go of that baggage from the past just to free ourselves. It's a cathartic and liberating experience just to let things go. Thanks, Samia, that I didn't know about that book. I'll have a look at it. But certainly, looking at the things that we worry about really are things that are in the past. We need to move on. We need to make peace with those things internally and sometimes externally with other people, and just let things go. And sometimes it means we have to apologize because sometimes we are in the wrong, and we have to understand that we do make mistakes, and that's fine. So let that baggage go, move forward. It is a truly cathartic experience to admit your mistakes and just move on with a new drive and a new vigor. So when we look at mindset, we talk about a fixed or a growth mindset. And I think most dentists have a growth mindset. And most people, I think, try to have a growth mindset. They may not couch these terms, their experiences in these terms, but essentially that's what it is. And so just to give you a brief overview, a fixed mindset assumes that you are fixed. Your character, your intelligence, your creative ability is completely fixed and cannot change. And it's an inherent God-given, born with right and ability, and nothing is going to change that. So you would strive for success, but you would avoid failure at all costs, and that would limit yourself. Because, of course, growth occurs at the edge of your comfort zone. So in order to grow, you have to push yourself. In order to grow, you have to move out of that comfort zone. So a growth mindset is one that thrives on challenge. It's one that moves forward with the unknown and tries to push those boundaries and push that envelope. And I understand that being part of the NHS and worrying about litigation, we're worried about pushing that envelope, and that's totally understandable. We work under that ever-present sword of Damocles hanging over our head, waiting to drop, and that patient's going to complain or do whatever they're going to do, and you do feel constrained by the system you're in. But do you know what? Life does exist outside of your comfort zone, and it has to. And in order to grow and move forward, you have to move outside of that comfort zone, and that does take some effort. It does take some effort. And out of those two mindsets, we kind of know where we are from a very early age, and it not only affects our business life, it affects our happiness, our interaction with our friends and families, our most close, intimate and personal relationships with our spouses. If we have a growth mindset, we can look at the world and we can say, I am capable of doing anything. I'm capable of doing anything that I set my mind to do, and as long as I put those hours in, I will achieve something. And do you know what? If you aim for the stars and you reach the moon, nobody's going to complain, are they really? The idea is to keep moving forward, keep pushing those boundaries and having a growth mindset. So we've already mentioned Stephen Covey before, and I think it's his first habit where he talks about that between stimulus and response, there is a little gap. So I'll tell you a story. I was on my way to the local food bank. I'm still out and about helping my wife with some deliveries for the food bank, and it's night time. There's a cyclist in the middle of the road. He's not wearing any high vis and he's not got any lights on, but he's in the middle of the road and he's blocking my way. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. You'd think that at this time people are reflecting and they're thinking about their position in life and they're thinking about their own mortality. We've all got friends, or we're beginning to have friends and family and wider circle that are affected. I know in the dental community we've got a number of colleagues that are either ill or in hospital or really suffering. So this chap's in the middle of the road. I flash the lights, expect him to move over to the left and let me pass. And what he does is he swears at me and he abuses me with one of those abusive words that just cuts right through you. And I won't repeat it because it really does hurt me, that word. And maybe in the past I would have reacted negatively, but I wound down the window and smiled at him and said, "Have a good evening, my friend," and I drove off, because I'm not determined. My actions are not determined by what comes at me. I am able to stop and think and be self-aware and decide to choose my words and my actions carefully. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm human and I do get angry, but I try and reduce that as much as possible. I try and work on being self-aware and not letting things get to me. It's always a work in progress. So between stimulus and response there is a space, and in that space lies our freedom and power to choose our response. In those choices lies our growth and our happiness. And that is a very deep phrase from Stephen Covey, and I truly believe that. So the deeper understanding of this is that our entire lives are a series of stimuli and responses. Everything that happens to us is an option for us to stop, to pause, to think, to reflect, and then to react. And if we're working in NHS dentistry, there is no time, is there? We're trained to deliver care at a speed that is just not safe sometimes. You know, when the patient walks in the door, or you've got a note saying there's a trouble appointment booked in the diary, and it says, I don't know, sensitivity upper left. Before the patient's walked in, you've already diagnosed. I guarantee you that happens. And that is a conditioning of the system we work in. So, my advice to you is, are we going to be reactive all our lives? Are we going to be reactive and be aggressive and shout? And it's not necessarily aggressiveness or shouting. Are we going to not think and pause and reflect and then respond? Because I think if we're going to stop to think and evaluate and respond in a manner, it becomes in a manner that is congruent with who we truly are. And I think when we stop and think, we find that who we truly are is different when we have that time and that space. So how are we going to, and I'll close with this, I won't keep you much longer, but how are we going to, when we go back to work, how are we going to change the way we do our dentistry? I think this time is a gift, I really do. I really think that we've got a chance here to reboot, rethink and reinvigorate our practices, our dental lives. And that goes the same for associates. You know, I don't think just because I'm an associate in a practice, you know, I can't effect change for the better. So the first thing I'll say, principal or associate, is slow down your dentistry. Slow down, slow down, slow down, and talk to your patients. Your patients have, what's the phrase that I've learned is that all the money you're going to earn is already in the pockets of the patients, but you just haven't got to it. And the reason you haven't got to it is you haven't found out what they truly want. And you haven't found out what they truly want is because you haven't spent the time talking to them. So when my receptionists talk to patients, new patients particularly, I ask them to find some information about the patients. And at first this feels false. So it might be things like where they're from, where they come from, not their address, not just their address. You know, what's their hobbies? Why are they seeking treatment now? And this is even for an NHS patient. Why are they seeking treatment now? Are they in pain? Are they in trouble? How long has that bothered them for? How does that make them feel? Are they doing this because a big day is coming up? Is somebody getting married, or is somebody is some big event occurring? Is that their kid's graduation? It's really useful to know these things because that enables me when I meet them to immediately and very quickly gain rapport and build trust. This is crucial, and it can be done even if your reception team don't do this for you. It's just about spending that time and talking to them. I frequently try and guess people's accents if they've come from outside of the area. And I don't mind if I get it wrong because it just opens a conversation. You know, there's lots of ways you can talk to your patients and really try and get to understand them very quickly. And this is critical if you want to serve them fully. So this is not really about selling, this is about serving. It's about taking them, unlocking what they haven't understood they need. And this takes a little bit of time, and maybe it won't happen in that first visit, or maybe it won't happen in the second visit. And I have this rule about not doing major treatments on patients I don't know. So if somebody's coming in for composite work, I'll do something small to begin with, because I need to get to know them. I need to understand how they tick, and it's really important. And I hope to try and elicit from them in those short interactions, those checkups, those cleanings, or whatever I'm doing for them, is just to understand them a bit better. And the more you speak to your patients, the more you understand. But the reception team can certainly help you with that. Something else I'll say to you is, you know, that the three things you really have to get right is your communication with your patients, your clinical skills, and the customer service. So there's the talk about the patient journey, and that begins before the patient walks in the door. And for an associate, well, certainly for a practice owner and a principal, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever you want to do, but you have to be out on social media. And I am guilty, just as others, as some of you guys, is I'm not as good at it. But this period, this time, this gift I've been given, I'm writing articles, I'm looking back at my website and tweaking it. It's a work in progress, but I'm working on it. But I'm using this time to build my online presence and push myself out of my comfort zone. So certainly your communication skills, how you build rapport, how you talk to your patients, how they know about you before you've come. And so if I was an associate in a practice that wasn't online, I'd be having Fuzz Jamal Dentist Facebook page. And that page is my page, and those followers are my followers. And so if I move to another practice a mile down the road or 2 miles down the road, those patients will follow me because they know me and they've come to me. So I would certainly say look at opening your own Facebook page as an associate and work on your online presence. Get your receptionist to find those 3 to 5 touch points, those 3 to 5 points about the patient, just non-dental even, just so that you can build rapport in the surgery, you can start a conversation. Now, this all goes back to how good are you at just talking to people? Can you walk into a room and strike up a conversation with somebody? And not everyone can do that. But, in your surgery, it's much easier because they need to talk to you, the patients, and you need to talk to them. So, yes, it might be a bit forced, but if you can say, so I hear that you've got a big event coming along, tell me about that. And stop talking. Let them respond. And you would be surprised what people tell you. My patients talk to me about all sorts of things. They talk to me about their lives. They talk to me about their divorces. They talk to me about, what's going on at work. And do you know what? It's a privilege that they feel comfortable enough to just open up. Now, I've been in my practice 20 years. And so some of you will say, well, it's easy for you. You know these patients. But it's surprising, even on a first visit, if you are open, positive, happy, smiley, and willing just to talk, you'd be surprised how many people want to talk. And you know what? I really enjoy it. So I'm nosy. I really love knowing about people and learning about people because, especially where I work, I can learn so much from them. So, as we said, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. I think we need to use this time to up our clinical skills. Dentinal tubules, other portals are available, and we can build our clinical skills. But I think communication skills is imperative. Learning how to talk, how to behave. I once had an associate who would lean against the wall when they spoke to patients. That is completely unacceptable. I appreciate you want to appear calm and relaxed, but leaning against a wall delivering treatment plans just doesn't look right. Excuse me. So, and sometimes we don't realise we're doing it. So it might be an idea to talk to your colleagues and say, look, how can I get better at this? And then I think clinically, certainly, and for the external, for the other stuff around building yourself and learning about yourself, you need mentors, you need coaches, you need people that are going to help you see what you cannot see about yourself. So certainly over the years, I've spent tens of thousands of pounds, probably approaching over £100,000 and more in learning about dentistry and learning about myself and being coached by other people. So, but it doesn't have to cost that much because you have colleagues and friends who will allow you to come and watch them work, who will allow you to come in and see and learn from them at no cost. So I don't think that, and certainly there's lots and lots online. So I'll close with, it's been great having you guys here. I really hope it's been beneficial. Don't get despondent about these days. I think we'll be back to dentistry. It will change, and I think there's benefit and opportunity in that change. I hope that you look at your practices and the way you work and think about different ways you can rejig the way you work. Maybe you want to look at your practices and think, we're going to change it to a much more hygiene focused practice. Our practice is very hygiene focused, but it could be better because ultimately the bedrock of longevity in dental restorations and dental practice is the ability to tell your patients, look, if you stay with me, if you are my patient, I'm going to do my utmost to help you keep your teeth and to help you keep you pain free. And that is a compelling offer to patients. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time. Any mistakes are from me, and please, comment, ask me what you want to talk about, and I hope to be back usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday with something like this. So keep a lookout for it, and it'll be at midday while we're off work, and if I get deployed I might have to change that. Thanks to my team are the ones that do the hard work. They are the ones that prep the patients and bring them to me in a way that they already want to have dentistry from us. So the team deserve a lot of credit. The reception team, the hygiene team, they are the ones that have grown with me to take patients on a journey, and we hope that we can continue taking our patients on the journey. And I'm desperate to get back to being around my team and being around my patients. So take care, guys. Look after yourself. I hope it's been beneficial. If you want a PDF of this, I'm just finishing it off, and it should be ready with you in the next 24 hours if you drop me your email address. And I'm going to ask you, there'll probably be a link in here somewhere to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to start putting these videos out there. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.